And good evening, good afternoon, good morning to wherever you are watching from or listening to me from all over the world. My name is RJ Ledesma, and welcome to my podcast, the RJ Ledesma Podcast. In my podcast, I interview the country's and even the world's most pioneering business personalities and entrepreneurs to learn more about how they think about business, what are their success secrets, and can we hack those success secrets? How have they innovated their businesses during this pandemic? And more importantly, what opportunities do they see emerging during the period of the new normal and even the next normal? Now, is there a business personality or entrepreneur that you would like me to interview here on the podcast? Please do let me know. Drop me a message. I would love to learn from them. We are also live right now on Kumu, CBRC TV, Global Pinas TV, and now the Bounce Back Network tonight. For all those who want to learn about blockchain and how to become an entrepreneur in the blockchain environment, I've got a great guest. He's going to be featured right now on the upcoming Final Pitch season, which is being produced by my good friend, who's also hosting the show, Mr. John Aguilar. Again, congrats, John. We're going to be having over here on the show Jay Villarante, who is the chairman and CEO of 8Ventures. Under 8Ventures, it includes several companies, which include Paylance, which is a Bitcoin payments and rewards platform that lets users send money for free and earn Bitcoins. They also have MoneyBees, which is a Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas licensed cryptocurrency exchange that is processing billions of pesos of transactions every year. And finally, Secuna, which is a cyber security testing platform for small and medium enterprises like my own business, government agencies, banks, and multinational corporations. Recently, in an interview, Jay said that the Philippines' future lies in technology, which is why we are taking up the local economy with services and solutions to help the country inch closer towards its development goals. So please welcome on my show. Very happy to have him over here, Jay Villarante. Jay, thanks so much for joining us, Jay.
Hi, thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone.
It's a pleasure to have you, Jay. Before everything else, ipa-plug ko muna to. This is a really great book that Jay's got out right
Thank
now.
you.
It's called Blockchain, a catalyst for good governance in the Philippines. So you can see he's really an advocate for blockchain, and he's seeing the benefits of how blockchain can help the government. And right now, people who might not even have a notion of what blockchain is, they're wondering, di ba blockchain pang cryptocurrency lang yan? Paano yung nakakatulong sa ating gobyerno? Of course, later on tonight, throughout our discussion, we'll give them a better idea of how blockchain works. But Jay, how can people get a copy of your book right now?
It's on Amazon. They can search the title and they can read it via Kindle.
Oh, great. At the same time, it's a really interesting cover. It's internationally heralded. I know there's an interesting story behind this cover. Please tell us about it.
Oh, it's done by my friend in Switzerland. She's doing a lot of paintings that are Filipino themed, and it's she's into Bitcoin about 4 years ago, and we kind of introduced her to Bitcoin, and she got really interested, and she painted this artwork that are Bitcoin themed, and you can see all the cryptocurrencies in the background of a Serizal, and yeah,
Baka NFT to, ha? The
it's
artwork.
it's actually a big painting. It's a physical painting. It's not yet digital.
Okay. So, Jay, let's start off. There are many people here hearing blockchain for the first time. On the show, we've had previous people who are involved in blockchain, like we had Michelle Gaba of PIDAX discussing the cryptocurrency exchange here on the show. But still, for
Mm.
many people, it's a concept that they need to be able to better grasp. And for example, my dad, who's about 77 years old, it's quite a challenge to explain Bitcoin to him, or even to regular people who have not been exposed to the blockchain or cryptocurrency environment. Maybe we can start off this discussion so that we can onboard more people, is to put us all on the same page. How can we explain to my 77-year-old dad, or to a layman, what crypto, first of all, what does blockchain mean? What is blockchain all about?
Oh, first we have to explain how the traditional system works, the traditional
Mhm.
banking system works. So how how we pay, for example, with credit card. So when we pay with credit card, there's a issuer, there's the bank that says you have this amount on your credit card, and then you when you pay, your wallet on the credit card gets deducted, and then the wallet of the merchant gets added,
Mhm.
and it gets credited, and then in so that's how our blockchain, our traditional banking system works. There's this middleman, the bank, the issuer, that verifies the transaction, that validates whether your wallet has a balance. And so what blockchain does, it replaces the bank with a decentralized network. So it gets rid of the centralized system, and creates a decentralized network. So this decentralized network is a network of computers that are running globally, um, and they're the ones that's validating transactions, using an algorithm that makes this system robust. Um, the So far, the this one is running for the Bitcoin blockchain has been running for almost 10 years, um, and it hasn't been broken since it's running. And right now, uh, it's still growing in value. Right now, it's about $66,000 per unit of
Wow.
Bitcoin. Yeah, and I'm gonna jump again to the to how they verify the transactions using the decentralized network, because this is a peer-to-peer system, and and the network creates this problem where the miners will have to solve, and then and then whoever solves the problem will get a certain amount of rewards from the system, and that is how the Bitcoin is minted, is created. And the Bitcoin is not just money that is like a paper currency or a coin that you cannot do anything other than to exchange it. It's also programmable. So the unit is highly programmable. You can put any value in it. For example, a share of a corporation or anything. For example, if you're familiar with USDT, it's actually a unit of ether that is assigned a value that is in US dollars. So a unit of this cryptocurrency can be assigned a value.
Okay. Please continue. You had something more. By the way, I just want to greet my idol and marketing guru, Josiah Ghost, watching here right now. Sir Josiah always wanting and needing to learn something new. Really great to have you over here. And just he's also having the second Mansmith Innovation Awards coming up. Please do apply for the second Mansmith Innovation Awards. My company, Mercato Central, was very lucky to be one of the winners in the first Mansmith Innovation Awards for innovative business model. Hopefully, your company might be next. Now, Jay, going back to we were explaining blockchain in relation to, I guess, what we call cryptocurrency, right, or Bitcoin, right? But in general, why is blockchain such a good thing for us? Maybe we have to step back and tell people
Yeah,
what is blockchain all about, and why is it something that can be used in primarily people use it for cryptocurrency, but it can be used for other things where it's very
yeah.
useful.
As I mentioned, the unit of the cryptocurrency can be assigned any value. For example, a land title. So if you assign land title into unit, for example, into the blockchain, then you won't need certain agencies anymore in government. For example, the land registration. So you don't need anymore uh, an agency in government to verify whether a certain land title exists or a certain contract. Um, so it creates this scenario where middlemen or agencies are no longer necessary.
I see. So the nice thing about blockchain basically is that it's verifiable to you. If it's that
Yes,
it's not something that you can fake. So let's say it's a land title. If you have a if your land title is on the blockchain, you know that the title is it's yours. Or let's say, for
it's
example,
yours.
even a contract is real because it's verifiable to the owner of that contract, right? And
Yes,
that's one of the great things of having the blockchain. I
that's
think
that's right.
what you just need to further understand is what creates the value for cryptocurrency. What makes it what makes it like money,
Yeah.
or of how we understand how money works, right? Because when we think about money, who gives the values to the 5 pesos, the 100 pesos that we spend? What gives value to the
I'm
cryptocurrency
gonna
that we spend?
Okay, I'm gonna mention Bitcoin because there are many other cryptocurrencies. For example, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is has a steady supply. It cannot be just created out of thin air. Only a certain amount of Bitcoin can be created every 10 minutes, and this scarcity combined with other uh, other factors which is it can easily be traded globally. It can easily be sent to any person in the world. um, it creates this scenario where a lot of people are using a a currency that is very limited in supply, and that we know very well when something is very limited and the demand is growing as the more people are using it, as more people are accepting it as currency. We know very well what will happen, and the price will go up.
Okay, so having said that, and maybe we have a clearer picture of what the blockchain is. What exactly is it that you do as a blockchain entrepreneur? You run a business called 8Ventures, and what exactly is 8Ventures? I guess that's a holding company for all your blockchain related businesses. Is that right?
Yes. Actually, we started with trading cryptocurrencies first. It's around 2012. Bitcoin was around $20, less than $20 each. And when we started trading cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin didn't have a lot of users yet back then here in the Philippines, and we somehow uh, invited more adapters, and we create provided the liquidity where people can sell their cryptocurrencies here in the Philippines, and there's a network effect with this business because more people use the currencies. We have more users also. This like a network that is
That's right. So the
growing in.
network grows exponentially. But let's go
Yeah,
back now, since we're talking about how your company came together in the first place. And I'm really curious as to find out because you've really built a big company out of 8 Ventures with all the different businesses which you have over there. I want to take a step back a bit more, no? And you did say that you became a blockchain entrepreneur since 2012. I'm thinking back 2012. In the Philippines, blockchain barely anybody knew about blockchain. How did you, I guess, spot the opportunity, and what was the pain point that you're looking at? What was your background at the time that
yeah.
made you come into blockchain?
So before I encountered Bitcoin, I was really libertarian. I didn't like the government. I didn't like government printing money back then, um, and it's just, I guess, the distrust in how the government manages the economy. And back then, we really believe that there should be a uh, uh, the government should not manage money. The central bank systems is not working for the poor people.
So
That's how
that was your
we,
irritation, kumbaga, sa business. That
yeah.
was your pain point.
That was what we were thinking, and then Bitcoin came in around 2009, 2010, and I got really very interested on how it works. Combined with my also, I was a computer programmer, so I understand how it worked, and I understand how the algorithm works, and why the design is robust. Um, so I guess that's how I knew that it's gonna be a success in the future. It's gonna be big in the future. And so when we were trading cryptocurrencies around 2012, we made some money doing that, and so we formed our companies under 8 Ventures. We have Paylance, Moneybeast. We invested on these things. Because we know that it's going to grow, and we know there will be demand for cryptocurrencies, and yeah, so the rest is history. And also we did other startups like Secuna, which is our cybersecurity business, because we need for our cryptocurrency exchanges to be secured. We need to have talented people auditing our systems. They are the ethical hackers. They're constantly checking whether we have vulnerabilities in our system, and we spinned it off this team and created a company on that, and we also offered that to other companies so that we could also check other companies' websites if they have vulnerabilities.
So sort of like, well, at least Sakuna, it was like sort of like an internal problem which you had, and
Yeah,
because it worked, now you can sell it to other people as well. You can sell that
th-
internal solution out to other people because you know that it works. We've had similar
exactly.
companies also that did the same thing, that they figured it out internally, and because it's good, they can sell the product outside. That was the product also of Monolith Growth Consulting the other day.
Exactly. And that's why 8 Ventures is here. And we're also continuously looking for other startups that can also be a great addition to our ecosystem.
Wow. So I want to go back a bit more. Back in 2012, it's not like today where you've got a PDAX here, which is the cryptocurrency exchange, and I guess it might be easier to withdraw your money for cryptocurrency. Tell us about how it's like back in 2012, because those are still the I would say it is still the nascent days of Bitcoin. You weren't sure, is it going to work? It's not going to work. Tell us about your experience of investing there than having to withdraw the money from there during those
Yeah,
times.
I remember during those times, I don't anymore sleep because I was reading articles on Reddit, on the Bitcoin page on Reddit, and everything is there, and we can connect with people in the Philippines. who are also interested in Bitcoin, also trading cryptocurrencies. And that's how we network back then. Of course, now it's easier to find people who you can check for cashing out or cashing in. Um, but back then, we use forums, Bitcoin Talk. I think they're still very active. A lot of Facebook groups as well.
Hmm. And then, how did you? When was the first time that you actually concluded a transaction and you were able? Because of course, Bitcoin sounds like it's out there, but when was the first time you actually were able to change your money from Bitcoin to actual cash and spend on it? Tell us about that first experience for you.
Yeah, it was. It was on local bitcoins, I think. This is a Finnish company. There's a website. It's like a website where it's like eBay for bitcoin, where you can find other sellers. So I found an advertisement selling bitcoin, and I bought bitcoin using, I think back then, BPI. BPI now does not allow cryptocurrencies anymore. But back then, I relied on BPI for trading cryptocurrencies. And yeah, BPI back then asked me a lot of questions about what is this? What is Bitcoin? And the banks didn't know back then what cryptocurrency. And then a few years later, it was around 2017, I think, 2016. The central bank also invited us to talk about Bitcoin because they don't know how to regulate this new form of money. And the then they released their guidelines, they released their regulations, and around that time also there are lots of regulated entities, and now it's easier to do cash in and cash out because the banks now know that you know we are following compliance with the government.
Okay.
It's very hard for me to say, like, because we started very libertarian. We don't like government. We want central banks to be abolished, blah blah blah, and now we're complying with the government, complying with the central bank. I guess my perspective also changed in
Mhm.
terms of how the government is also necessary in making Bitcoin and cryptocurrency grow, because you need um, trust in the system, because we cannot have criminals using cryptocurrencies, or uh, child traffickers and the like. We 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 want still this one to be useful for society. If it's not useful for society, then people will just demand it to be shut down and get rid of it. So uh, I guess my perception changed, and then the, there are more people now using cryptocurrency because it's now trustworthy.
Uh, Talking about the trustworthiness of cryptocurrency, I mean, different governments, like you said, it's a decentralized system, but different governments have different perspectives. And these are policymakers who think differently about Bitcoin. So, before I go into a discussion about how you became a blockchain entrepreneur, I first want to know, if you look at Bitcoin and the future of Bitcoin, there are countries like China right now, which has banned basically crypto, and then there are other countries which are saying, okay, we're going to be the first cryptocurrency. We will be the first one to turn our currency into cryptocurrency. Um, where exactly does the Philippines lie over here with regard to cryptocurrency, in your opinion? Because you're seeing the whole perspective, and at the same time, how do you think how stable will be the future of Bitcoin? Because it seems to rise and fall sometimes when Elon Musk says I'm going to use Bitcoin or not use Bitcoin.
I don't think it will ever be stable, but there are products now that are getting released, like the Bitcoin futures ETF, that we are hoping will make cryptocurrency more stable. Um, But going back to your other question, where does the Philippines? I think the Philippines needs to take advantage of this new industry. There's a lot of potential that we can. The Philippines is ripe to take advantage of this. We're right now number 15 globally, top adopters of cryptocurrency, of and I think for countries like China, they will be in a disadvantage later on if they keep on banning blockchain technology, because there are a lot of potential. It will make things more efficient in terms of, for example, land registration. If you don't have government anymore looking into it, even marriage
Hindi
so,
mo hindi puwedeng mawala, 'di ba? If you check on hindi ka puwedeng magdalawang asawa dahil,
even
na na
marriage contracts. Yeah.
naka-blockchain yung marriage certificate mo, 'di ba?
Yeah, I think in the future, people will no longer need the government to do this certain thing. Of course, government will still be there. I'm not saying we should get rid of government. It's just we can minimize the role of governments in our lives. Right now, government is too much into everything, but the less government there is, I think, is better.
Yeah. And having said that, I hope you don't mind. There are also people like the first time they're hearing about Bitcoin, they go, "Oh, I wanna invest in Bitcoin, but or in something." But the problem is, many of them, especially those who don't understand, they fall victims to Ponzi schemes or investment scams because they just don't understand. It just sounds like another fancy term for investment,
Yeah,
and people take advantage of that one. Can you just help
yeah.
people for the first time who are getting into it? What's the best way to get into uh, investing in Bitcoin? And on the flip side, how can they make sure that they're not being scammed if they're trying to start off in Bitcoin?
Yeah, first of all, check first if the company is registered or licensed with the central bank to do exchange of current cryptocurrency. And also check with the SEC if the company is licensed to provide investments for the public. I think in these cases, the government will really do a great job protecting consumers from scammers. Um, yeah, it's just the people has to do due diligence on these companies, on these
Um,
people.
and then, if you're a first timer in Bitcoin, how do you suggest that they enter into the industry? How should they start investing in Bitcoin, or where should they research? What should they do?
They can go to those licensed cryptocurrency exchanges to buy Bitcoin, for example. For Bitcoin, what I cannot suggest on how to buy or sell cryptocurrencies, because I'm not an investment. I cannot suggest investments. Um, I but I guess Bitcoin is good long term hold. And
And that's your perspective on Bitcoin. That's the perspective that you've taken for Bitcoin.
yeah, and many other cryptocurrencies are real good. For example, Ethereum, ADA, and others. And if there's an opportunity to buy, for example, when it dips, then you can put in a small amount, an amount that you can afford to lose, and then hold it for a long time. Forget about it, put it put it aside, and forget about it, and wait for it to grow in value.
Okay. I got that. Now let's go back to your own entrepreneurial journey, Jay. In 2012, like you said at the start, you were blockchain, you were learning more about it. You were buying cryptocurrency and maybe selling a bit. When did you become an entrepreneur about it? Instead of just being involved in the buying and selling, how did you turn your advocacy or your appreciation of Bitcoin into entrepreneurship? How did you become an entrepreneur from as a result?
Yeah, I guess when I started with, first of all, I started with just 100,000 pesos in capital, and then we slowly grew the transaction volume, and now we're doing. I think this year we've done 6 billion worth of volume. Uh, we've already exceeded our target of 2 billion. for this year. But the how it started really is that we need to create a process. You know that you're already doing a business when you're creating processes that will make the system more robust for the transaction secured. For example, you don't lose any money doing the transaction. So creating that system, I guess, is the first step for doing the you know that you're doing business already. So and then I you put the right people in there, because this is a financial company. We need people who are or trusted, and we cannot just hire people who are we get from somewhere. It has They have to be trusted, and they you know that they're not gonna run away with the money. And so we that's how we grew. Some of my employees are still with us for almost a decade now.
Wow, yeah. Oh,
And they know, because they know that we are good, because we they can see the growth. They can see that what we believed from the start is real. Now they can see it's real. Bitcoin is all over right now. But back then nobody knew what Bitcoin was.
no, that's right. And I mean, at least now more people have a better understanding, and not that fully actually. There's so much to comprehend when it comes to Bitcoin. But when you got there, then so the first thing that you did, if I was to understand it correctly, is that you create a process to be able to invest in more Bitcoin, right? That's the first process that you created for your company. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Now,
uh,
after, please go ahead. Yeah, you were saying.
the I try to do like holding Bitcoin and like in the business, it makes the business really unstable.
Hmm.
It also volatile as Bitcoin. So you cannot run the business and then gamble with Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. You can store a small amount, but not a large amount where it affects your balance sheet. But so we have to create a system where we reduce the risks of
Okay.
running the business. So basically, the systems that you have to improve day by day is to reduce the risks of the business suddenly shutting down. And um, and doing that every day, yeah, the business will grow
You developed the
further.
expertise. So what type of risks were you trying to reduce by running this business, the first blockchain business? Reduce the risk of reduce the risks of volatility. So you were still buying and selling, obviously, to create some cash for the business,
Right.
right? But
Hmm.
what sort of steps? I'm just curious to find out. But that's that's part of what you do in business, right? You have the risk assessment, put processes in place. What did you do to sort of to manage the risk of running a Bitcoin business?
So yeah, the risk of cryptocurrency, when you bought cryptocurrency and then suddenly it goes down, then that's the risk. The company will lose money. And also with employees, you have to reduce the risk of employees running away with money, and you have to create these checks and balances within the company, so that no one single employee has access to everything.
Hmm.
Um, I think yeah, around cybersecurity as well. So we need to make sure that we cannot get hacked, or our money are safe, or don't get stolen by hackers. Um, yeah, I
And
guess
all these
that
processes came about because you did have problems with people trying to get hacked. You did have problems with people trying to,
correct. Yeah,
again, steal the Bitcoin, right? Because that, I mean, that's part of business, right?
right. And when you're really doing good at something, that's part of the business. For example, cybersecurity. Then we split. You can split it off. That's what we did. We
I
spinned
see, I
off the
see.
cybersecurity part, and we found other companies who need this also, and so we sold this part of the business as well.
I'm curious lang. What was the point when you were doing Bitcoin and you were doing the business when all of a sudden you said, "Oh my God, it's actually gonna work. It's actually gonna succeed." Because you could have said, "Okay, May kasi syempre, you feel like sometimes some days you're losing your pants, di ba? When you're doing Bitcoin because of the volatility.
Yeah.
What was the day when you said, "Oh my God, this is going to work. This company is going to work. It's actually doing okay."
I guess every day that Bitcoin is not zero is a proof that Bitcoin is gonna work. Every day that because there's now $1 trillion reason to hack the system because the whole Bitcoin ecosystem is now worth $1 trillion plus.
Wow.
So there's a big reason now to hack the system, and nobody has done it. And that, where's the bigger proof than that? There's a big incentive to to hack, and but they cannot. And this is an indication that it's robust. It's been running for almost 10 years already, and it's still growing.
Wow. Now, let me take a look at this. So let me understand your business a bit better on. So the first one is really you were doing, for lack of a better term, you were doing buying and selling of Bitcoin for the business, no? And eventually, you found that there was, you found other opportunities or other pain points that you could address. Tell me how you developed your other business called Paylance, which is one of the businesses under 8 Ventures. What is the pain point that you were trying to address, or the
Oh,
irritation you were trying to solve?
we back then we need supplies of cryptocurrencies, and Payland started as a way to send money to the Philippines using Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, we convert it to peso and we send the peso to directly to the bank account of the client. And that the pain point is that we need more supplies, and also the other side we need more demand. And so we open Moneybees, which has multiple outlets across the Philippines, and they're providing liquidity for an easy way for users to buy and sell cryptocurrencies using our physical outlets.
So this is the Moneybeast is a physical outlet that you have, right?
Yeah.
But before that, let's go to. I want to finish on Paylance first. So I understand Paylance is a Bitcoin payments and rewards platform that lets users send money for free and earn Bitcoins. So tell us how it actually works, so that we get a better appreciation of the pain point that you were trying to solve when you created this one, Pay. Sabi ko Paylance.
Yeah. And yeah, because we didn't have a lot of users, so I guess the best way to incentivize people to use the system is to reward them with Bitcoin. And Paylance has this reward system. If you bring your friend, every time your friend transacts on Paylance, then you get a certain percent of that. So that's how we yeah.
And just how big is the Paylance business right now?
Right now we are still working on Paylance. It's not yet open fully to the public. To be honest, it's still open to just a few clients that we have. We have a few big clients that are using Paylance, and we right now our focus is to grow Moneybees
Moneybeast.
because
Okay,
that
great.
that is our yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about money beast naman. I know you're briefly talking about the sort of like the irritations or the pain points that made you create money beast. But let's get into again when you discover the pain point and how did you move forward from there?
Mhm. So for Moneybees, we have a lot of users that are tr- right now trading that wants physical outlets, that wants to meet physically, meet up. So we thought of that. That's a very unsafe way of trading cryptocurrencies, and also it's prone to money laundering and the like. So we thought of partnering with already compliant outlets, money changers. We have pawn shops as well, and these are outlets that already have the license from the central bank to do trading, and we do KYC as well for the clients, and these are in specific spots. For example, in um, Resorts World Manila, in Venice Grand Canal, in Glorieta, Trinoma, and these are convenient places where people can go and exchange their cryptocurrencies.
Wow. So you ride on, so there's no need for you to build your own physical spaces. You just partnered to you just partnered already with people who already licensed with a BSP to do money exchanges. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now this is interesting. I want to know also, how is that process for you to go to the BSP and get yourselves registered so that you can actually do these physical venues for exchanging Bitcoin into money. How was that like for you when you went to the BSP? Was it easy to get this done?
Yeah, it's a very long process, to be honest. It was There's multiple steps to there are multiple stages of right now. I think there's three stages, but back then there's two stages when we did the procedure. Um, yeah, they did due diligence on every shareholder of our company, and made sure that we are going to be compliant. But in Moneybees, we are doing extra in terms of compliance. We're also tracking that's why recently we have this article about our partnership with Chainalysis. Chainalysis is a tracking platform. So, what's so interesting about Bitcoin is that they thought that Bitcoin is untraceable. It's full of shady people,
Hmm.
but actually, Bitcoin is highly traceable. Everything is there in the public. Everything, all the transactions are public. It's just we don't know who those transacting parties are. And chain analysis is there to detect where the money is going, or where did the money come from. If there are blacklisted addresses, for example, they know that this address is where a hacked cryptocurrency went to. After it hacked a certain website, it went to this cryptocurrency address, and we know if this address wants to be exchanged to cash. And that's how we come in and we can detect whether a hacker is trying to convert the cryptocurrency into cash, and alert authorities when this happens. So that's our extra layer of compliance. This is actually not required by the central bank,
It's
but
like internal controls na lang, di ba? That's basically how you perceive that.
yeah, because back then the central bank didn't like cryptocurrency because a lot of it were you know anonymous.
That's right.
But doing this gives more trust into cryptocurrency.
Got that. Now, right now, how many physical money bees do you have out there in the Philippines?
We have, I think, 11 right now. We have in Trinoma, Glorieta, Eastwood, Market, and we're trying to grow it further. Uh, right now, we are just in NCR, but we're talking to potential partners. We'll grow us outside of NCR.
I see. And what's your goal? What are you saying? This is going to be a nationwide thing, like in every pawn shop or in every money exchange.
Yeah.
Meron kang makikita diyang money bees. Is that your ultimate goal for this one?
Yes. Yes. Um, yes, it's still because Filipinos are still using cash. It's just that now people are more and more using online transactions, and we can see the growth of our online platform doing that. That's why we have both Paylands and Moneybees to have both the online and the offline transactions. But I think because of the pandemic, more and more people will go online. But still, we're trying to grow our physical outlets.
Got that. And basically both companies, Paylance and Moneybase, both belong to your holding company, which is called 8Ventures. Is that right?
Yes.
Are there other companies also under your whole blockchain ecosystem?
Yes.
That's part that
Yeah.
also does, that contributes to what you're doing.
Yes. The As I mentioned earlier, Sikuna is part of Eight
That's right.
Ventures. Uh, we have a couple of companies we're investing in. Part of the TFP. I cannot disclose yet because it's still not yet uh, live. But we also have a Qubit, which is a real estate blockchain company, and we also invested in companies like Bloom. I don't know if you're familiar with Bloom. We also
Please
invested in
elaborate
the
on Bloom. I know that you're one of the first investors into Bloom. Why was Bloom a company which made sense to you in terms of your ecosystem?
back then. Bloom is our trading partner. They're selling us cryptocurrencies, and it made sense for us to invest in them so that their model of making remittance easier via cryptocurrencies. um, we thought that it's an easy way for us to also get supplies uh, via Bloom, and yeah, that's why we partnered with Bloom and we invested in them.
Okay, so it's sort of like vertical integration if you think about
Yeah,
it in terms of the
and
business.
right now we're still integrated via Paylance. So Paylance is actually integrated with Bloom. So every time someone cashes in and cashes out on Paylance, we're using Bloom's system for that.
I see. Now, having said that, no, I understand you also have a business called First Tree Ventures, and this is sort of like your investment arm in new companies. Is that right?
Yeah, it's no longer active right now, but Eight Ventures is our active.
I see. So I see right now with 8Ventures, you're using that as the company to invest in other
Yes.
businesses and startups or innovative business models that support the growth of what you've created in terms of a blockchain ecosystem. So what are the
Yeah.
opportunities that you're seeing emerging here right now when it comes to the blockchain? Where can we grow in the next couple of years? I know that you've mentioned industries like, for example, finance or farming or even real estate. What are the opportunities right now in terms of you investing and seeing where blockchain can take you, but it can take us even further?
NFT is really very interesting. We can see the growth
You have to explain a bit more for people, for the first timers who coming across what is NFT and what is it and how does it work. I'm sorry, Jay, if you don't mind, so that people coming for the first time can
yeah,
get a
it's
better appreciation.
NFT means non-fungible tokens, and this means that you can tokenize certain digital assets. For example, virtual items in games, and so this makes these games virtual assets become highly tradable even outside the game. And we can see obviously Axie Infinity is already very popular right now. We have Axie Infinity virtual tokens getting traded. We can see a lot of volume going in on SLP, AXS, and there are more games that are also out there. And I can see that the gaming industry will obviously big for blockchain.
Why will the gaming industry be big for the blockchain? For people who might not understand why it's such a big opportunity.
Oh, because there's a lot of virtual items that people collect things in the game, and this one, if we put into blockchain, it becomes highly tradable, and the value goes higher as more people are using the game, are playing the game.
Mm. And what are the other opportunities you're seeing as well? Where do you plan to expand uh, uh, 8Ventures right now in terms of what companies are you looking to invest in? What are you looking to grow with 8Ventures?
Uh, right now we're focused here of investing here in the Philippines. We I cannot disclose the names of the companies yet, but it's very interesting the tokenization that they're doing. But yeah, in general, these are the things that we're interested in investing in.
I see. In about 5 to 8 years, where do you see right now 8 Ventures?
Ah, because we're I actually, you know, don't think that long term in terms of how do I see myself after 5 or 10 years. It's a very expensive process for me. I don't really um, people will see someone is very ambitious, uh, but this uh, honestly I don't really look at myself in 5 10 years time. It's just for me, I work very hard almost every day even holidays, even weekends. I just want everything to be doing really well every day, and that for me, I'm focused on doing that. And obviously, we have to continuously adapt with the changing environment,
Hmm.
and it's very hard for me to see, if there's gonna be pandemic, there's gonna be climate change is gonna affect everyone in 5 10 years time. What's important is that if the environment changes, if there are changes in the industry, in the system, your business should also adapt, and that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Now I wanted to ask you because you have, you've been in blockchain, so there have been many times. Syempre, you feel like, oh, this is great. And all of a sudden, you also feel like, oh my gosh, I've lost everything. Di ba? I mean, that's the volatility that is involved over there. What I guess what life and business skills have you gained? What type of resilience have you learned from your 9 to 10 years of being in the blockchain world that people can learn from and I guess apply in their own businesses as well?
I guess the idea is that's just you gain some, you lose some. You can imagine, if I kept my money into Bitcoin, I should have been made so much more money. It's just we cannot predict things, and you have to think that you've done your best. You shouldn't. And if you failed, you just stand up again and then do your best again. You cannot do anything about certain things. You just try to do your best.
And having said that, no, I was asking you earlier offline, but this is very interesting. I know that you've been heavily involved in the blockchain, and you're seeing many opportunities emerge because of blockchain or outside of blockchain. Now, if you had the time or the energy to do something outside of blockchain, what would these opportunities that you would be pursuing right now if you weren't involved in blockchain or industries surrounding blockchain that if you had time you would also pursue them?
I would probably still be in the e-wallet platform. I was doing that before I went into Bitcoin. I was already doing e-wallets, online platforms, and I was a software engineer before I joined. Before I started Bitcoin trading, and I would probably be still doing programs,
And what particular portion
softwares.
of the e-wallet industry or e-wallet world would you be involved in? Because there's so many different opportunities there right now. What are you seeing as one of the more interesting plays in the e-wallet industry?
uh, it, it, there's a lot of opportunities in the Philippines. Filipinos have a unique Filipinos is a unique market. It's I haven't really thought deeply about it now because it's not in the space, but it's just we are there's a lot of opportunities because Filipinos are not a lot of Filipinos are using e-wallet, but now and during the pandemic, more Filipinos are using e-wallet. But I guess there will be the I would still, you know, there's a way for Filipinos to develop this platform without using foreign technology.
Yeah,
We don't yeah, we don't need to use like PayPal. Before we were using PayPal, and like I think we need to develop our own e-wallet technology.
I hear you there. And with that, thank you so much, Mr. J. Ricky Villarante. We learned so much from you here in this discussion. There's still a lot more to learn from you. Again, 8 Ventures. We wish you the best of luck. And again, if you can buy his book, Blockchain, it's available in Amazon here right now. Great learning. I've been this is gonna be my nightly reading here so far. Jay, any final words for the entrepreneurs out there?
Yeah, for just as I said, I mean, grand visions is okay, but we still need to grind every day. We need to work really hard to make sure our business will be successful. It's very hard to just rest on your laurels and think that everything will be fine. Yeah,
And with that, thanks so much, J. Ricky Villarante. Again, this is
thank
RJ
you,
Ledesma. Thanks for joining me in my podcast. We will hear from you again in the next podcast. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you.
thank you.
Jay, dyan ka lang ha, Jay.